Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to literally the Arsenal conversation. This is not a preview. This is not a review. This is not anything about talking about any game. This is like literally talking about everything Arsenal, literally. And I have two guests with me. So, whom are regular on the channel. How are you?
I'm good, Glenn. Thank you so much, man. I'm really excited to feel out where my fellow Arsenal fans are right now, mentally, emotionally. So yeah.
Excited. I don't know about excited with Arsenal. It's not exciting with Arsenal. And Venant,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm fine. I'm still confident in our manager, and I'm optimistic uh, in terms of the future of Arsenal.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cook in the chat. Let me know if everyone's sound is okay before we get started. So, this season we've played, is it 13 games in the Premier League? We've played six in the Europa League, and we've played, I think, three in the Carabao Cup. And it's been a mixed season, but recently it's been totally down season. So, Zuhum, in the season so far in general, what have you made of it?
Shocking. It's really been shocking, man. Because I always knew I was frustrated with these players. I always knew there was things I didn't like about our team, our squad. Uh, but I mean, they're not this bad. They're not meant to be this bad. So it's been shocking, man. I actually thought we were going to be serious top four contenders, especially with the addition of Partey and Gabriel. They were good signings. So, man, it's just very disappointing because we're breaking all kinds of records. Uh, the manager is under huge pressure. There's a lot of doubt, not because of the performances, but also because we don't know what he's gonna do. This is the first time he's under these kind of circumstances, and it's there for the whole world to see. So it's been shocking. I thought we were gonna finish top four. I'd be happy if we finished top 10 this season.
Awesome, Venant. And before I get into Venant, I'm not hosting the show. This is just a freestyle talk. Anyone in the chat, if you want to talk about anything Arsenal, just comment on it and we can try and talk about it. So, Venant, season so far?
I'm surprised. Like, I'm just surprised at the turn of events that has led to our current situation. And this is because when this season started, we were definitely in the topic of um, the teams that had the best transfer windows. If you think about it, resigning Aubameyang, Willian, Gabriel, bringing Saliba back, like it's like we had our problems, and we kind of fixed it by bringing these players. And then started off well, Willian making a statement in the first game, and then I don't know, it's like a turn of event. It's like the way like in a movie, and then something just happens, and then you're just wondering like what's happening. And then
Yeah,
now just losing. We lost to Burnley. Like, how do you even explain that? We lost to
you don't.
Burnley. We're drawing in
You really don't.
Southampton. Like, seriously,
Yeah,
this is a team that was beaten 9-0 at their place. So that's where we are. We went from having the best transfer windows and just looking like a team where we were definitely getting top four to are we even gonna make top 10? So I'm surprised.
yikes. What about you, Glenn?
For, for me, the Burnley game,
Where are you? Uh-huh.
let me talk about the Burnley game that Venant talked about. The thing that was concerning about that game is not even the fact that we lost, because after we went down to 10 men, I kind of expected them to get a set piece here and there to score. The fact that we didn't look like we were going to score a goal, that is what concerned me. Burnley at home, I could not see where we could score a goal from. We have no style of play. We know Liverpool depend on Robertson and Alexander-Arnold to put in crosses. We know City, when they had Son and Sterling, they would like pass the ball literally into the box and they would tap in. All their goals are literally tap ins. Barcelona's style of play, pass, and all that. We have no style of play. It didn't look like we were threatening at all. Back in the days, as people usually or dislike us talking about the likes of Van Persie, Adebayo, those days when people used to come to the Emirates Stadium, we used to score 4-5 against Blackpool, Blackburn, 6 goals, 7 goals. These days, this season, in fact, we are not scoring any goals, and that is what is concerning. I don't mind that happening when you're playing United away, City away like last season, but at home to Burnley, Southampton, very concerning. As Venant says, these are teams that were conceding 9 goals last season, and we can't score a goal against them. So that was very, very, very worrying. And it's not just one game, it's literally every single game. Remember Sheffield at home, West Ham at home. We were lucky to win those games. In fact, back then, we were very lucky to win those games. So apart from the Fulham game, that was the only game that we won like convincingly. All the others have been scraped and all that. So it's been very, very terrible.
Yeah, well, it's a nice segue to the next topic, because we're going to discuss obviously a number of things. I see on the topic list you have indiscipline in the team, Willian or Pepe, Arteta in, Arteta out, and that's obviously the big one. And then you have January transfers, right? But I'm going to add another one there, just my thoughts on the board so far, and I want to hear how what your impressions are on the board. But just to go into the indiscipline in the team, I mean, not only have we regularly not scored goals, not only have we regularly conceded goals, we've also, and dropped points, we've also regularly been booked, the wrong kind of booking. We've seen a number of straight reds for bad challenges. We've seen some stupid reds, and we've seen some maybe inexperienced second yellows. So, but obviously recently, see, guys have been saying that there's been a lot of indiscipline in the squad, right? That Arteta's losing grip of the non-negotiables. What do you guys think of stories now? These rumors coming out. Apparently, Luiz isn't interested, or he's in a row with Arteta and Willian as well. Apparently, they don't like the manager anymore. And when you think about it, there's also been rumors that Arteta has had to deal with a mole inside the dressing room, and he was quite stern. He said, "I'm gonna kick you out, so I'm gonna find you and kick you out." So, is that a bit? Is that supposed to be like a sign of the beginning of the end? Isn't that usually a sign of the beginning of the end? But when these rumors start coming out about a manager and the dressing room, and then soon after that, the manager's sacked.
Yeah, as we wait for Venant to come back in, for me, 7 red cards in a year. Remember, it's not like we've been playing for the entire year. The year has been like cut short by like 6 months, and we've picked up 7 red cards. The concerning part is that most of those red cards are not, like the Gabriel red card. Yes, it was a mistake. The first one though for Gabriel, he actually kicked the ball away, so that was concerning. It was not for the foul; it was for kicking the ball away. The concern is Pepe's red card. Stupid things. Shaka's red card. We expect that from Shaka, but not from someone like Pepe. So the worrying thing is that the way we've been picking those red cards is not because of a tactical foul or a last man foul, 1-0 ahead in the 80th minute. It's been indiscipline. I don't think you can do that in Alex Ferguson's team. I don't think you can do that in Klopp's team. Indiscipline, never in anyone's team. Yes, the likes of Vieira and Roy Keane used to pick up red cards, but you can imagine right now the likes of Klopp, you cannot do those things in his team. He'll totally shut you out.
Glenn, we're talking about these red cards. We'd started seeing this pattern even before Arteta came in. Remember, under Unai Emery, under Arsene Wenger in his latter years. I don't know if you can recall, Venant, but the amount of times I went into a game just clenching my rear is that, I was just wondering at what point is this team going to give away a penalty? You know what I mean? You're just almost expecting it. And so many times we go into these big games and whatnot and just think to yourself, please, whatever you do, don't give away a second yellow, don't get a red card, and don't concede the first goal, or don't concede a penalty. The amount of penalties we've conceded as well is ridiculous. Bennett, that's you, bro.
also when you look at the timing of those red.
Is this still there?
Yeah. No, actually, I think we may have lost him.
Yeah, I think his net. I think his net is.
Yeah. Ah, man.
Just give that question to me.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about obviously the red cards. What about? I mean, Venant was just about to touch on the timing of the red cards. A lot of the times you find them. It's a very good point. A lot of the times you find them being dished out when we're building a bit of momentum.
Yeah, when you're building a momentum, and as you're right about starting from last season. You remember Nketiah against Leicester at home, just about to go, we were about to win the game 1-0, keep our hopes to the Champions League up. He picks up a stupid red card. Vardy equalizes. Even before that, Emirates first season, I remember Niles picking up, I think, 2 red cards. Luis, what you come to expect from Luis. So that is very concerning, but it looks like the frustration is building up as the game goes on. The frustration is building up. You're not scoring goals. People are frustrated. The mind is all over the place. So I think that is probably the reason. Frustration. People are not happy about not scoring goals. People are not happy probably about the style of play. So they're literally showing their frustration, and that is what is very, very concerning. I don't know if Vent is back.
Vent, you good now? Yeah. So, it's interesting that you mentioned the frustration.
Yeah.
Because, you're there. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, good stuff. So, it's interesting that you mentioned the frustration of the players. What are they frustrated at? Because this is the same group of players, right? With the same essentially the same leadership, in Granit Xhaka, Aubameyang, and them. And they were part of that squad that was built with a lot of protection at London Colney, because of the manager, that's Arsene Wenger. And I mean, why are they frustrated by things they're not capable of doing? Remember, there's a saying that goes, the manager is only as good as his players. So if the manager is doing badly right now, I mean, obviously the players take the lion's share of the blame.
Did you just say they don't have control of? I think they do have control of. Okay, they don't have the control of the way we are playing because it's set up by the manager. But I think that is what is frustrating them, because there's no reason why. I hope he's back now. I hope he's back now. Are you back now? I really hope he's back now. You have to have really high end Wi-Fi for streaming it. That's the reason.
Oh, just lost him. No, he said he heard us. Anyway, let's Venant will chip in where he can, but carry on.
Yeah, don't worry, frustrations happen. So, style of play, against Leeds, I didn't understand Pepe. I think we were going to win that game if he didn't get that red card. So, what was his frustration about? Maybe it's because he has not been playing, but he's been given the chance right after the second international break.
Actually, I think that was a bit of an isolated incident. If you think about it, remember, apparently he'd already started having these little scuffles with Alioski.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is fine. Which is fine, by the way. Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
You can have these little scuffles, but you beat them on the pitch, not literally. You beat them footballing wise, with your footballing ability. You try and score a goal and then go celebrate in their face. I don't mind that, but to be reeled in to such a snide, essentially, just a very, very sneaky kind of tactic. It was very immature and inexperienced by Nicola Pepe. I mean, this guy is, like you said, like many of our Arsenal fans try and remind me all the time. This guy and a lot of our players are all full internationals, at different age levels. Yes, of course, at different ages, but they're all international players. So you're dealing with not only you're playing for your national team, you're playing for a Premier League club. How do you let someone get under your skin? Alioski. You get what I mean? That's what pissed
And
me off the most about him.
And opponents, if you're playing against Diego Costa, you just know you just need to do something small and he's going to get a red card. Seems like all the
Exactly.
opponents right now, they know Arsenal are in a very bad state, bad place of mind right now, and they know we just need to do this to the players and they're going to be wind up. Like Shaka, you just know, like Shaka, if I was Taylor, I think it was Taylor, I would do the same thing. If I was Westwood, I would just wake up and push him because I know Shaka will lose his head and is going to get a
Yeah.
red card. So the
Yeah.
mentality in the team is wrong because I think Pepe did that. I think Shaka does that. I think
But then,
probably I've seen Tierney fighting at the end of the Leeds game, kind of
yeah.
frustrated at
And
the Leeds
why?
game.
Because he went for Alioski because he knew
Mm,
Alioski meant what he did. He knew what
yeah,
he was doing and that he was going to try and get someone sent off. So
yeah,
that's what I like about it. But then, you have the new blood, which is like
yeah,
Kieran Tierney, Bukayo Saka, and all these kids, and Gabriel and Partey. These guys are all new blood, right? And then you
yeah,
also have guys like Granit Xhaka, who,
mm,
after being sent off, hasn't apologized, still hasn't apologized for the time he flipped up the fans, right?
yeah,
And Gabriel and Nicola Pepe, immediately after what happened, they were like, "Sorry, guys, we made a mistake. I cost my team. I cost my manager. I cost points. I disappointed the fans. That kind of stuff." Which is exactly what
yeah,
you want to. That's the least someone can do.
yeah,
So for me,
yeah,
it's like the new blood is coming in, and they're so ready to apologize, and they look like they're playing for the fans and for the badge, and maybe that's part of that new club bounce. You're at a new club, you want to make an impression,
yeah,
and you're not just at a new club, you're at the Arsenal Football Club. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The Arsenal,
yeah,
which is, no matter what your friends and rival fans tell you, this is still a massive, massive club in England. So and in Europe. So it's I just don't like that. I don't like that some of these players are being allowed to be unaccountable. Unaccountable?
yeah,
Or yeah. If you look at, for example, Willian traveling to Dubai on business, for business reasons, personal
yeah,
business,
yeah,
and immediately he starts the next game, and then he gets injured with a thigh injury,
mhm,
probably due to traveling to and fro like an idiot. But here we
yeah,
are, right? and
yeah,
and it's like Arteta came in and he said non-negotiables. It's going to be discipline. People need to. It's going to be a meritocracy. Like people have to work hard and then they get rewarded for positions on the pitch.
yeah,
But we're seeing that fall away a little bit, and I don't
yeah,
know if that's because he's losing grip of the squad, or
yeah,
perhaps maybe he just has no faith in what's to come. So, for example, when people are clamoring for Nelson
mm,
to bench Willian or Pepe or whatever, maybe he doesn't have faith in those kind of players in the Premier League just yet. But
mm,
surely, what's the difference, right? What's the difference
yeah,
of continuing with Granit Xhaka and not rewarding someone like Emil Smith Rowe or Joe Willock, who will learn on the job? At least you're making some sort of progress. You're not making any kind of progress with Granit Xhaka. Honestly, I feel like this guy is his own problem, Arteta, sometimes.
yeah. We'll come to those youngsters. Let me take this comment from. He's actually a West Ham fan, a top lad. He says, "The board
Nice.
are at fault." Do you agree that first of all the board are at fault? The question is,
Yeah.
how long you can give Arteta try and grow into the role? In my opinion, it should be until at least the end of the season. That's a West Ham fan. He's been through it with
That's a West
managers.
Ham fan. Yeah, he knows it. He knows what we're going through right now. And um, yeah, look, I still maintain what I've always maintained, is that he deserves two full seasons,
Mm,
not just one full season. Two
yeah,
full seasons means two things. It includes the summer transfer windows and also the January transfer windows of those seasons. So that
yeah,
means even if he recovers this season and then we sign even more players in the summer and let go of a lot of the dead weight and the bad blood,
yeah,
um, and things don't go well at the beginning of next season, it also means I'm giving him until January next season to try and recover whatever situation we might find ourselves in. But yeah, look, when it comes to the indiscipline, it's something that I hope the players are being careful for, because it cost us, like you said, against Leeds, and it cost us
Yeah,
against Southampton, and it cost us
yeah,
against Burnley. Against Burnley, by the
yeah.
way, I didn't even think Xhaka was playing that bad. I thought Xhaka was having a decent game.
I
And
don't know
then,
about that. I feel
look,
like
I
it's
mean,
too obvious sometimes.
yeah, yeah. In what way? In what way is he too
In
obvious?
his passing, all that, it's too predictable, it's too slow, it's
Too
so easy.
slow.
Like what usually like annoys me with him is he's not a fighter. Like the moment you get past him, he's like, whatever, I'll just pull you so that I
It,
don't have to run 2 meters back.
it's not just that. There's
Yeah.
there's that, and then there's also the lack of aggression. He has
Mm.
no aggression.
Yeah.
This guy, remember at some point, Hoffenheim, or is it Hertha Berlin, wanted to sign him for 18 million last season,
Yeah.
January. This actually, yeah, earlier this year, the beginning of the year. So that's I think nobody from the Premier League wanted him because he has no aggression to play in the Premier League. He's supposed to be a central
Yeah.
midfielder. And remember, Arsene Wenger even scouted him and said Xhaka is a box-to-box midfielder. The more we saw, the more we realized, nah. And then at some point, eventually, Arsene Wenger himself came back and said he's more of a deep-lying playmaker. That's because you realize he's too slow and
Yeah.
doesn't have the aggression to fight to play in midfield in the Premier League midfield.
Is it literally because we've not had anyone else in that position to the point of now we think Shaka is good enough? We now think he's good enough because we've not had anyone better or someone at the high end of like midfield class like in the last 15 years. That is why we are settling for Shaka right now, unfortunately.
I mean, the reason why we're settling for Xhaka and a lot of these players is because, and this is why I go back to the board, I blame the board for this. For the last 3 years, we've had three different managers, and if you include Ljungberg,
Yeah.
and with all those managers, there was no
Yeah.
clear sense of direction, and that's supposed to
Yeah.
come from the technical director. Look at, for example, how clear the path that the AC Milan find themselves in, regardless of the fact that they hired the snake Ivan Gazidis,
Yeah.
right? So if you
Yeah.
think about that, they have Paolo Maldini leading their technical director role and leading the club forward, and now they're playing a certain style of football, and it's leading to results. Whereas with us,
Yeah.
we had Raul Senye, we had Ivan Gazidis, we had Sven Mislintat, we had now Edu, and still, as of yet, we still don't have some sort of style. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
I blame the board
Um,
for that.
Babu also says Arteta needs more time in 2 transfer windows, but he also needs to fix the locker room issues and stop playing favorism. Yeah, I agree with that because the likes of Guendouzi were chased away, and some players are still doing the same thing. Maybe that is they put too much pressure. He put too much pressure on himself from the beginning. So any decision that he makes right now, people will be like, because last week people were actually waiting for the conference to hear whether he's going to slander Shaka the same way you did Pepe. I don't want people to wait for the press conference for that. So Shaka has not even apologized. As you said, Shaka has not apologized. But you had talked about the youngsters. Let me touch on that. That was the likes of Willock and Ketia. For me, at the end of last season, I was okay with Nketiah going out on loan. I was okay with Willock going out on loan. I was even okay with Nelson going out on loan because I still think they've not really proved everything we need to be proved. If I
Yeah,
was to remain with one, I'd probably say Willock and then the other two go out on loan. But this season, they've shown they can do it in the Europa League. They've shown it. The Carabao Cup, we've beaten Liverpool, we've beaten Leicester with such good performances. So we've seen they can do it. And the other thing is we've seen they can do it better than some of the players we have. So there's no reason why Willock cannot play ahead of Xhaka. There's no reason why Niles cannot play in the middle ahead of Xhaka or on the right ahead of Bellerin. There's no reason why Nelson should not be starting ahead of Willian, who has been very, very
yeah.
poor, unfortunately. I know I asked Willian or Pepe. That is because I think they're on the same level right now, unfortunately. Pepe last game did not do anything. He was off just the way Willian was in the last few games. So Nelson can get a chance. Martinelli, who will probably be in action for Arsenal under 23s in the next 15 minutes, he'll be back soon for us. So Martinelli and Saka should definitely be starting for us, and some of the youngsters should get a chance, because if it was not for Saka the other day, we wouldn't have scored a goal. So it was very
No, yeah, you're right.
unfortunate that the likes of Saka is looking at the dressing room for some experience, and there's no one is looking up to. That's the unfortunate thing, actually.
It's quite sad. You're right. Just touching on Gabriel Martinelli and some of these youngsters, there's some youngsters that I believe can actually make a difference.
Yeah,
For example, now with the 9-man bench rule, right? Substitutes
yeah,
bench rule.
yeah,
That's a really nice opportunity for us to try and field some of these youngsters. So, for example, instead of just
yeah.
having Nketiah on the bench, you could also include Balogun, because
Mm,
sometimes I feel like Nketiah doesn't offer much. And when it
yeah,
comes to guys like Reece Nelson and Joe Willock and them, I just wonder if they have right now, if they have technical ability to play in the Premier League, to
yeah,
run with the ball, dribble, pass it with conviction, in the
yeah,
same way that some of the Premier League play, yeah, at the standard of the Premier League. And I just feel
yeah,
like they're not there yet. For example, even with Reece Nelson, he's so tricky, he's so talented with his footwork. He can beat a man, but so many times I see him get into the box, even in the Europa League. And when it comes time to take a shot, it looks more like a pass to the keeper than a shot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's not
yeah.
enough
And it's every
conviction in
time.
some of these players. Yeah, I think it's like almost every time, to be fair. I haven't seen a very good shot from him in such a long time. And I just don't see enough power. And without power, not only in your shooting power, but also in your running power, you can't
Yeah,
stay in the Premier League. You can't
yeah.
survive.
Yeah, and the set pieces too have been terrible. Him, Pepe,
Mm.
Willian, all the
Oh,
set pieces have been very terrible. We cannot, I've been counting our corners. I think
mm.
against the likes of Dundalk, against the likes of Sheffield, we get like 15 corners per game, and
Yeah.
none, like two of them reach our man. Like 13 of them are poor corners. That's
They
how
don't
bad
even
it
beat the
is.
first man. They
They
don't
don't
even
beat
beat
the
the first
first
man.
man. And even the way like they arrange themselves in the box, it's like it's a corner, just get into the box, let's hope. Like there's no like strategy of like heading the ball in, because the amount of corners we get is so many. Mr. BK says let's see what happens tomorrow. Attila says Arteta out. I can see Wayne says Arteta in.
Mm.
Gaddafi Power says Arteta in and players out. Chris says that Arteta in. So just as just under Wenger, just like under Wenger and under Wenger and under
Mm.
Emery, people are so divided. Like
Yeah.
at least like Emery's period, like after I think it was the Leicester game last year, like at least 90% were Emery out. Like
Yeah.
everyone wanted that Emery out. But
Mm.
right now, everything is so divided, and that is literally like affecting us. So we've touched on the youngsters, we've touched on the indiscipline, we've touched on. You want to talk about the board first or Bamia?
Let's talk about Willian Pepe. I just want to touch on that as well. But
Yeah, yeah,
with the Willian Pepe thing, I honestly thought Willian would come in and be used as some sort of central attacking midfielder. I'm
yeah,
very disappointed with
yeah,
his performances so far this season. I think
yeah,
in the same way he can't be fully blamed for his own individual performance,
yeah,
because everybody else around him is struggling from an attacking point of view. But
mm,
when it comes to Pepe Willian, I never thought I'd be choosing between Willian and Pepe. I thought
mm,
Pepe was going to start on the right, Willian behind the striker, and Aubameyang on the left or up top, and then you have Saka or Nelson or some winger. The point
yeah,
is, it has to be Pepe. If we have to choose between the two, it has to be Pepe. We're paying 72 million pounds for him,
yeah,
and towards the end of last season, he was huge in first of all the FA Cup run, right,
yeah,
and in the final. And I thought he was starting to build up a bit more consistency in game, not
mm,
not in terms of goals and assists, but also just consistently being able to take on a man confidently and actually beat him. Remember, for
yeah,
example, in the FA Cup final, he put two nutmegs on two different Chelsea players, and
mm,
that's what I mean. Right now, if you play him, you're gonna see that maybe once a game, once every 2 games. But the more you
yeah,
play him, I feel like the more he's in rhythm, and the more he's in rhythm, that's when I feel like you're gonna get the most out of Pepe. So I really hope Arteta starts benching Willian for Pepe, because if it's supposed to be one or the other, I choose Nicola Pepe, man. I have no future with Willian. That's not the way to go. Hopefully, Pepe can become some sort of like decent player for us. So
I
yeah,
wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that confidently. I know I can see Babu O says Pepe, Attila says Pepe. I don't know the reason for that because he's played like three consecutive Carabao Cup, not Carabao. Yes, Carabao Cup he did play, and the Europa League games, like against Dundalk away, Molde away. These are games I'm expecting him to be the guy. He's supposed to be the guy because he's the main guy there. No Aubameyang, no Lacazette. Be the guy for us, take advantage. But he comes into those games and Willock outstands him. Like not Willian. Willock turns out to be better than him in the game. Nelson plays better than him in the game.
yeah,
Even Kolasinac sometimes plays better than him in the game. And then we go to Dundalk away. We score three goals.
yeah.
El Neni outshines him. Nketiah outshines him. He does nothing. And then the other day against Southampton, I was very excited to have Pepe back. But can anyone tell me what Pepe did in that game? It would have been the same thing whether we had Willian. I don't think I
Yeah.
think they're on the same level right now. I don't think I can confidently say Pepe is better than Willian right now. I think they're on the same level.
No, no, they're. I think so too. In terms of performance levels, I mean, yeah, I think so. I agree. I want to talk about the board. Just
Yeah.
before, we get into the Arteta in or Arteta out. Okay.
You check your mic, check your mic. Disappeared a bit. I'm guessing someone called him. So as we wait for him, Mr. BK says our first lineup is literally made of people with high wages when we signed Willian, and we are gonna offer Aubameyang a new contract as well. 55 staff were made redundant. Yeah, that is something I'd already forgotten about. All these stories coming up. Why do all these stories like literally come up? Like, why all of a sudden? Like, we were doing so well last season, we won the cup, and then someone
I'm
called
back.
you, huh?
Yeah, someone called me. It was actually an emergency, but thankfully,
Uh,
hopefully, things are going to be okay. Things are going to be okay.
yes. So
So
go ahead.
yes, Mr. BK, I just want to read out our first lineup. Oh, I just lost that comment.
Okay.
But yeah.
It's
Oh,
back.
sorry.
It's
It's
back.
literally made of people with high wages. When we signed Willian, we were going to go offer Aubameyang a new contract as well. 55 staff were made redundant. So let's talk about that now. We're talking about the contracts and whatnot, and our recruitment. We have to agree that it looks like for the last 3-4 seasons, we've been doing quick fixes. Even Aubameyang was a quick fix. Just before we signed Aubameyang, we paid 43.5 million pounds for Alexander Lacazette. Now he was meant to be our top scorer, our main striker and whatnot. Then some transfer jigsaw puzzle appears where Chelsea need to let go of Batshuayi. They also need to replace him, and then also Borussia Dortmund need to let go of Aubameyang and need to replace him with Batshuayi. So it was like some merry-go-round. And we suddenly found ourselves spending about 60 million euros on Aubameyang, and it's like $6 million on Aubameyang, and it's like, okay, what is the strategy? And that was under Arsene Wenger. Remember that was under Arsene Wenger. What's the strategy? What are you guys trying to do?
Yeah.
How could you see? It's fine if there's a massive injury to one of your biggest players, and then you have to go and replace someone of that caliber. But these guys decided, we need to sign Alexander Lacazette, and then we also need to sign Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And I think it was around that time Alexis Sanchez had to move as well. To United. So we're replacing goals, but we kept replacing goals in like for like kind of players, right? And it's not working out so far. Even, for example, Denis Suarez, the signing of Denis Suarez, we signed another player who was injured.
Yeah.
With the 5 million loan fee.
Denis Suarez.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, Glenn. People go like, this is all Raul Sanye's fault. He's the one who was a sleazeball. But you don't remember even Arsene Wenger signed injured players. Kim Kallstrom. Remember Kim Kallstrom?
Yeah, he did score a penalty though in the FA Cup final.
He did.
The semi-final.
So I think semi-final. The point is though, our recruitment policy really needs to be fixed up, and I think it's starting to be. If you think about it, some of our best players right now are coming because there's Arsenal people in Arsenal, in posts that are very, very important within the football club. So, for
Yeah.
example, Freddie Ljungberg saw Edin Ketia, Joe Willock, Bukayo Saka, Reece Nelson, all these kids come through the ranks. And right now, they're under the steward of who? Per Mertesacker, right?
Yeah.
We also have a scouting team, but also it looks like Edu helps in scouting players. So, for example, the fact that he found this Gabriel Martinelli is a big plus. The fact that he eventually went and got the deal done for Gabriel Magalhaes is a big, big
Yeah.
plus as well. So, if you look at the best recruitment so far, the spine of the team is being fixed slowly.
Yeah.
Yes, Aubameyang is an aging part of that spine, but down the middle, if you look at it from at least the defense and in keeping, we have
Yeah.
Bernd Leno and Gabriel Magalhaes. We have, it looks like William Saliba at some point is going to come back. Okay, I know a lot of Arsenal fans are like, he's not an Arteta signing, so they think we're going to sell him. I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to sell him. Personally, I don't think we're going to sell him. I think he was ready for the previous regime, and that wasn't
Yeah.
good. This is a different regime now under a new manager, under this now new technical director, who want to play a certain kind of way, and maybe he needs time to adapt to that. And obviously, you can't ignore things like the personal issues that he had to face. So what I find weird, right? And we go back to the comment of the 55 redundancy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if there could have been two scenarios, and one of them is actually real. The other one, the first one, the first thing that actually happened was these guys, they brought in some guy. The Cronkies brought in Tim Lewis. He came
Yeah.
and reviewed the way the business is being run, and he decided
Yeah.
now we need to make these changes, right? If they hadn't brought someone like Tim Lewis, I think we would have stayed with Raul Sanllehi. We would have
Yeah.
continued spending a lot of money
Yeah.
inefficiently, and those deals turn out to be horrible deals because not only are the players bad, but also we start paying them so much money, we would have been in an even worse situation than we're in. But
Yeah.
this is my light at the end of the tunnel, my glimmer of hope, is that the fact that the board, the owners decided to bring in this Tim Lewis guy shows that
Yeah.
there's a willingness to fix up. That means there's an acceptance that things didn't go well in the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, maybe even more.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they want to be overly critical of themselves, then they can be honest with themselves and say even more. But it's like they're finally accepting it. We messed
Yeah.
up. We need to change things up. We've decided to go with this manager. He sold us a vision. And we're also convinced to the extent that we went and spent money, 45 million, just drop that on the bank
Yeah.
in Spain. Remember, there were also reports of Atletico Madrid being completely shocked. They didn't expect Arsenal to make that kind of a move, right?
But yeah.
Maybe that's the
But
maybe that's even more evidence that
yeah.
the board are finally taking on a hands-on approach with the club. Not only in terms of the manager, not only in terms of who is overseeing with the oversight of the club, but
Yeah.
also in terms of the expenditure.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge point that we signed Thomas Partey. I mean, where do you stand with the board right now? Are you as hopeful as I am?
Before even get into the board, I wanted to say something about the board before we get into the board. I think, as fans back in the day, I never used to like care about the board and everything. I want to
Yeah,
watch the
yeah.
football. It's the Arsenal board that has made me, or the Arsenal team that has made me worry about the board. We are wanting this player. Oh, how much is it? Let me get my calculator. No, 300,000. I don't want him. We're supposed to
Yeah.
be concentrating on the football. I have someone perfect to answer your question. Let me bring in
Hey,
Kozi. Kozi, how are you?
I'm okay, Glenn. How are you doing?
I'm good. So we are talking about some different topics just to get you in for a few minutes. So Zuhum was just asking me about the board. Where do I stand with the board? So I'm not a professional on the board. I prefer the tactical part of the team, not the board. So where do you stand on the board?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, almost 90% of the case we are in, it's the management, it's the ownership of this club, it's Kroenke and sports, and that's why nothing can happen. I'm telling you, nothing can happen at a football club when top management, when the board it's not, you know, in the same realm of ambitions. It does not have the same realm of ambitions. Does not have the same thinking as the fans. That's why you could have Edu come and give out such patronizing comments, and nobody cares, nobody comments, and he's not reprimanded. But that was so patronizing. The club has gone 6 7 games lost out of 12, and then a sporting director comes out and gives such patronizing nonsense to fans. Everybody's hurting right now at the club. Everybody's hurting, and you've got to do your PR right. You've got to you've got to think before you speak at this time, because it's a delicate situation. It's a delicate matter. It is how we take Arsenal back to the top, not how we see us in different perspective, because that was what Ed was trying to say. And you expected from a serious club, if it was Chelsea, Abramovich was going to would react, and he'll be like, what kind of nonsense are you saying? Are you trying to say that we are trying to achieve more in training than we are achieving more on the pitch? So for me, I think the board at Arsenal is a real mess. Look at how let me ask you guys, how was Vinay appointed as as CEO at Arsenal? How was Vinay appointed?
Actually, Kosi, I just want to address that. I think you're right. The board, for sure, is the main reason for all the problems that we have right now.
Yeah, exactly.
From the management all the way down to commercial, all the way down to the football pitch, and even in terms of the squad that we have right now. They didn't set up the right processes and the right recruitment policies, and they didn't do that because they didn't have a clear vision of what they want this club to be, in my opinion. And
I don't think
when it comes to,
I don't think we have a footballing board. I don't see Arsenal's board as a footballing board. It's just not a footballing board. It is a marketing board. Get money out. Yeah. How do we get money out of the club? And that's why every week there is a new training kit out, so that fans can buy it. There is a new item. There is a new Adidas, something from Adidas from Arsenal, so that fans can buy. Yeah. It is how they can, they can exploit the fans. How do we squeeze money out of the fans? That is what they do. It's not a footballing board. You don't tell me that in the past 3-4 years we have lost almost 4 top quality midfielders. Oh, that would be top quality. We lost Ramsey, we lost Wusha, we lost Cazorla. All those players have gone out of the club, and you don't have a serious player that has been signed in that midfield, apart from Thomas Partey of recent, who also came in
to replace them.
I don't know. You understand? So this is not a footballing board. No, it's a marketing board. They're trying to make money. They're trying to make money out of us. No, they're not after football. They're not after football. I'm telling you.
All right. Well, let me ask you both now then, because I just explained it to Glenn just before you came in, Kosi, and I hope you're well. I can tell you're angry. So I just want to ask. You've heard of this person called Tim Lewis, who's meant to essentially come in and figure out a lot of what's wrong at Arsenal in terms of on the pitch. Sorry, not on the pitch, off the pitch stuff. From management, and you've seen the 55 people that were made redundant when Gunnar Soros was furloughed, and now apparently he's come back. However, also he also had an in-house investigation into the Nicola Pepe deal, and eventually it saw the sacking of Raul Sanllehi. Is that maybe an indication that maybe now the board are actually taking on a hands-on approach? Because I was just mentioning to Glenn just before you came as well, Atletico Madrid didn't expect us to pay 45 million in one go for Thomas Partey. Does that show maybe they realize that, hold on, if the money now is starting to dry up forget Champions League and winning it. We're not going to have Champions League football. That means we don't have Champions League money.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, money talks, right? So is that maybe an indication now that we're about to change the way we move in the transfer market as well, and in terms of our recruitment? If you think about it, how long has it been since in January we have been linked with three different players, three different types of signing: a wide forward, a right-footed center half to be added into our collection of center halves, and also a creative midfielder. Last 2 seasons, we were told we didn't have money. Are you guys a bit more hopeful now?
To start with, I think, there is this thing, trust the process. There is a Mikel Arteta project being built. I don't know how far, I don't know how true that is. There is a Mikel Arteta project. I've been watching Charles Watts today. He was talking about it and saying there is a big, massive project that is being built at Arsenal. I don't know if the journalists are not compromised to that extent, because he writes for goal and I really respect him a lot. But if there is a project at Arsenal, then I would understand your point that maybe there is notice that this club is gonna dry up, and there isn't any money. Because let me tell you, if Arsenal finished 15 today, you're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose a lot of deals. Forget about the Champions League, like you said. Forget about everything. Just the frustration from the fans and everything. You're going to lose a lot of money. You're going to lose a lot of brands and sponsors and so on. So if Arsenal if the board is realizing this, then you might think about it like, okay, are they trying to build something else? But again, if they had seen this, they shouldn't have brought people like Edu, people like Mikel Arteta. I think they should have changed right away, and they're like, now we have been doing things the wrong way. Let us bring in the right manager, the right sporting director. Because for me, I know Edu is rated so highly. I don't rate him as a sporting director. There is no way I rate him. He's exposing us to Kiajo Rapchin, apparently, who is one of the people we know has been, just patronizing the recruitment processes at clubs like, he was trying to rip down West Ham, rip down Chelsea, rip down other clubs, like we know. So I'm not really sure that Arsenal is going in the right direction but I know the board and everybody down at Arsenal, they have seen that is something wrong. There is something going wrong at this football club. There isn't any money. Right now, we cannot attract players. That means you cannot even attract investors at the point, because it's quite different from 2-3 years ago when Arsene Wenger was here, or 4 years ago. We could manage, Champions League football on a daily basis. You understand? For almost 20 years. So that means you could attract, you could attract sponsors. You could attract sponsors, you could attract players. Everything was going on so well. So you could, get in good players, young talents, sell them off. Now that's not possible. The other way is, how do you get money from sponsors? Now that is also not possible. There are not so many, sponsors that are willing to associate themselves with the brand. Now it is the fans. And now you can see every money, and I think Arsenal is losing a lot of money by this by the having these stadiums closed, because the only way they can make good money right now is, do fans support the team? And this is I don't want to say this because I really love Arsenal. I don't want us to run bankrupt. But if the fans stopped funding this football club right now, if we just stop, buying these jerseys, buying these, all those, products at Arsenal and so on, you will see a big financial, flow. I don't want to call it a depression or something, but you will see a big financial, decline at Arsenal, because that's the only way right now Arsenal is going to get money. Even in the summer, I was talking about this on my channel and told people one of the key sources of Arsenal's revenue is TV revenue and people going down and watching those games. That's one that according to some of the statistics I was looking at. So there are no more brands that are going to associate with Arsenal right now. I would agree with you, bro. I would agree with you. Arsenal might be seeing this, but the question is, isn't it too late? Isn't it too late for Arsenal right now? Because
no.
It's a big question there.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, if it's too late, I don't know if it's too late. you honestly, you make it sound like it's really, really bad, and I understand why you would, because it is. We shouldn't be losing 4 games in a row in the Premier League. We
Shouldn't be
shouldn't be
15.
losing.
We shouldn't be
Shouldn't be
15.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
Glenn, do you hold the same opinion, or are you a bit more hopeful of this club? Like, what's going on with the board? What do you think? You
um,
have to.
um,
You can't
I'm
hide.
just
No. Wait.
wait.
You can't
Okay,
hide.
okay.
You can't
Yeah.
hide behind the all. No, I'm only here to discuss tactics. The boardroom is clearly boardroom decisions are affecting
Yeah.
what's happening on the pitch. You have to discuss that.
Yeah. So first of all, what Kosi has just said, wow. You can see how much Arsenal fans know about the board. All those names has been mentioned. I'm just like, what? Like
Yeah.
it's the Arsenal itself that has made us know about all that things we're not supposed to know about. So for me, I don't trust the board. To answer your question, I don't trust the board to deliver. Yes, they delivered with Partey, but I think they were just under pressure to do it. That's why they signed a player like Partey, and they were at least like 10 years late. We bought Aubameyang and Lacazette at least 2 years late. If we had them in the Leicester season, we'd have won the trophy. We've bought Partey 15 years late. And it's the board. What annoys me most about the board is the fact they did not care about football. They don't know anything about football. It's not just the business partners, because he says they don't know anything about football, literally. If you ask them what position Arsenal are right now, probably the likes of Kroenke don't even know. They do know where Nuggets are. They know when Nuggets is going to play Lakers next season, but they don't know when Arsenal is going to play who. So for me, the board, I don't know as much as Kosi knows about the board and all those names is mentioned, but I definitely know I don't trust the board. And for me, making Arteta the manager probably was the wrong decision, and it feels like they didn't trust themselves to do that job, and they gave it to the guy who was in front of the cameras to give excuses to the people. So that's all I can tell you for now. I also wanted to touch on this since he's brought up players who should sign. Final topic: January transfers.
Glenn, just before that, just before that, I think his answer. I mean, his question will be very much answered in the summer, because right now, even if they buy players, we shall know. We shall know, Omar. It's panic buys. It's the pressure. They are 15th. So it's going to be more in the summer. How do they handle the summer? If Arsenal finish by surprise, and I want this to happen, I want Arsenal by surprise to finish 5th. If we finish 5th and they go out in the summer, clear out the dead wood, and then bring in the right players, then I'll know now that this board is actually, getting in the right, direction, getting Arsenal in the right direction. But right now we can't know. They brought in Thomas Partey because they had failed to sign House Semawa. Everybody had had their eyes open on them. What's going on? They brought in Thomas Partey as an escape, as an escape route.
Well, I just want to interrupt, Kosi. I just want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Okay, so this, it's not a T. I have insider information. It's not a T. I have insider information. I can just read in Arabic. So obviously you guys have heard of AFC Bell, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. So apparently the reason why we left it so late with Thomas Partey is because we always knew we could get the deal done, and we focused all our attention on Houssem Aouar because of how tricky we thought that deal could be. Sorry, I just needed to adjust it. So apparently we had been trying to sign him for a while now. So with the Thomas Partey deal, I don't think it's a panic signing, but for sure now signing in January always is going to look like a panic buy right now. Even if we do get Aouar, it's going to look like a panic signing. So yeah.
No, I mean it's not a panic signing like you would say, because when you say panic signing, someone is gonna say it's a bad deal that someone tries to pull up to cool some pressure or something like that. No, that's not what I mean. I think they signed Aouar on the deadline day because they clearly wanted to show that we have failed to I'm sorry, the signed Partey. They clearly wanted an escape route. He was like an escape route. Because it was either Aouar or Partey, not both of them. And in my opinion, in a club that's trying to come back, you've finished 8th, you've got to get Partey and Aouar. That was there were not ways about it. You've got to got those two players because your midfield was clearly empty. But we only got one. I think it was an escape route. It was as a result of an escape route. If we get Aouar in January, I think it will be out of the panic. I'm waiting for them in the summer. They do good business. I agree. They have seen the mistakes. They but I still believe it's going to be the same old Arsenal.
Okay.
So Zoom, January transfers, we know for the summer transfer window, I gave it like a 6 because we signed Partey out of 10. And if he wasn't signed, I would have given it very low because I feel Socrates is still here. Kolasinac is still here. We've talked to you, both of you guys before, and we know how we feel about all those players. We didn't sign Awar, as Kozi said. We didn't sort out our creativity problem. We left out Ozil, so it's problem after problem.
We didn't sell any players.
Didn't sell any players, and selling Martinez was a bad idea for me. Yeah, that was a bad idea for me. So the January transfer window is here. For me, I'm Arteta in, as everyone knows, because I need him to get to January. Cause is Arteta out. I don't know about you, Zoom. So I need him to get to January to sign some players. So January, Zoom, how many players do we need, and which players, if you have any in mind?
Ah, man. Today I just saw AFC Bell tweet that we've made it very clear that we're going to try and sign Awar in January. We've made it clear to Awar's camp and the Lyon themselves. But for me, it's not just Awar. I think we need some sort of double pivot. Why I say that is because if we just sign Awar, you know what's going to happen? Players are going to mark him in the same way that they mark Kevin De Bruyne. And then even with the attacking prowess that Man City have, they find themselves struggling to create chances regularly and in good number. You get what I mean? So for me, I feel like we need two creative, technically gifted players. And if one of them is more of a central midfielder and another is an attacking midfielder, that's fine. But I think, realistically speaking, we should be able to try and get Awar and Emiliano Buendia from Norwich.
I'm not sure about if Awar wants to come to Arsenal. That's the thing. It looks like he's not keen on joining Arsenal. And the worrying thing is that I can't mention his next second name, but Dominic from Salzburg. How the hell does he move to Leipzig like this? And Arsenal wanted him apparently for a few months.
So apparently it was even these guys reported it. AFC Bell. They said the same thing. You know, they said it in Arabic. You can translate it if you guys would like. Follow them as well. They're quite insider information. They were fully right about Thomas Partey, by the way. So they said, in as much as we are interested in Dominic Szoboszlai, first priority looks like is going to be RB Leipzig, and that's because it's a sister company. But then also there's reports coming even from someone like Chris Wheatley, someone, you know, obviously a proven journalist. He said apparently the Arsenal scouting department had concerns whether he could do it in the Premier League, whether this season would be too soon for Dominic Szoboszlai. And a lot of people are holding the same concern about him. Now, whether he can or can't, surely he's better than what we have. That's the way I see it.
What we don't have. What we don't have.
Better than what we have and what we don't have. So
yeah.
I'm not too gutted, but I really did want him. But I think I expected him going to RB Leipzig, and news has been coming out saying that, you know, he feels like this was the next natural step, that coming to the Premier League would have been too big a jump. Anywhere else would have been too big a jump. So yeah, I don't know.
Cozy January.
It's going to be a very, 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 very tough one for Arsenal. I mean, the Arsenal board is clearly, I mean, if they are trying to look for cover in the January transfer window, it's really going to be very hard to look for cover. One, how do you attract players? That's the first biggest question. How do you attract players? How do you attract the players you want to that side that is sitting 16th on the table? 4 points. 4 points. You know,
Kosi,
4 points.
I know. Kosi, I know. It looked really bad, but yeah. I have to believe what guys like Fabrizio and Ornstein are saying. They're saying regardless of the league position Arsenal find themselves in, they're still one of the biggest clubs in the world. And
no, you see,
they shouldn't have any issues attracting players.
Yeah, Omar, I do agree. I understand. I do agree. You know, but the question is, look at when these players are being guided, they are looking at Arsenal in the past 3 years. Last year they finished 8th. They had a crap summer window. You understand? Their chances of qualifying for Europa League are very slim, and they do not have any chances to qualify for the Champions League in the next 2, 3, 4 years. So you ask yourself, why would I want to sign for a club like Arsenal? Why would I want to take my player? Why would I want my son to play for Arsenal at this time? We are not attractive. We don't have a squad that is attractive like you'd see United. United is not a title winning squad, but someone would want to play with Pogba, someone would want to play with Bruno, someone would want to play with the likes of David De Gea or something, because those are renowned names. You look at the manager. Someone would say, I want to play for Klopp. I want to play for, Pep Guardiola. I want to play for Jose Mourinho. You understand? That's why, one of the reasons that's why, Reguilon signed for Tottenham Hotspur. You understand? So, what is the attractive in Arsenal this January transfer window? We were a little bit more attractive in the summer, and I've been saying this. We are a little bit more attractive. We had 2 silverware. Somehow, we got out of, I don't know, out of the blue or something, or out of luck, but we had 2 silverware, silverwares, and you could tell that we were trying to build something. Something we are trying to build has been blown up. It's like everything is gone. So. You're not going to sign a player like Aouar without competition. Juventus is there. Real Madrid is there. Are you going to beat that competition when you're 15th? You don't have a bigger name than these other clubs. I mean, it's really going to be hard. But I know, like Fabrizio said, and Edu, we're going to try to go for a creative midfielder. I won't be surprised if it's someone like Fabio Vieira, FC Porto, because he has been linked apparently with the club. And I know if we go for Fabio Vieira, it's going to be the fact that we cannot convince players like Aouar. We may not be able to convince the big name players to join. So we might actually go for the Fabio Vieiras. I don't know whether Emi Buendia, what you think about going for us. No, I think he'll see it as an elevation probably, because they are in the championship anyway. But if they have high chances of coming back, which are going to convince him, guy, stay here, go to them, qualify for, make us qualify, then we shall sell you to a club with championship football. They can tell him that. So it's going to be a very, very hard window, but one where we need to show that we are serious. I'm telling you, it's not going to be an easy one. I don't expect us to sign 3 players. It's either going to be one and a loan deal, or 1 player, or 2 loan deals, something like that.
Yeah, Alex Cannon-Fodder asks, should Arsenal be looking to sell or buy? For me, it has to be buy, because I know selling is very, very crucial right now, but is it what we need immediately? I don't think Socrates being out of the squad is affecting us on the pitch. I don't think Kolasinac being out of the team is affecting us on the pitch. But yes, it's affecting in terms of wages, so we can't buy other players. But I think we need to buy first. Yeah,
Glenn. Cannon-Fodder has a point. Right now, we had to chop off some players off the squad because apparently we had so many. So we had to chop off. If you add at least 3 more players, that means you'll have 5 players out of the squad, but you're paying them weekly, monthly, annually. So that's not acceptable. So you need to first ship off some players, because literally, right now bringing in players means you're pushing more people out of the squad, but you're keeping them, on the wage bill. So he has a point. He has a big point.
Yeah, but
so we can go without buying players.
No, Kossi, that can't be fixed in one transfer window. I think, for example, we might see Mesut Ozil leave. I think we might see Kolasinac and Granit Xhaka leave. I don't know, but maybe, perhaps. I'm hopeful. But honestly, this isn't the fault of this particular executive team. This was the fault of Raul Sanllehi. This is the fault of Sven Mislintat. This is the fault of Arsene Wenger and even Gazidis. And and Raul Sanllehi. Obviously, I mentioned Raul Sanllehi. That's being carried forward, and now we're paying back for it. So I think you're right. We definitely need to sell, because the only reason I think we didn't get to sign Aouar is because we didn't sell people as well. If we didn't sell, not only could we not fund Aouar, for example, but we also couldn't make space in the squad, and we would have had people being left out as well, again, all over again. So yeah, I think also the 3 players you keep mentioning, that's unlikely. Most likely, I agree with what you said first. One signing on a permanent deal and perhaps a loan deal. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be that. I mean, it's particularly going to be that way. And one of the problems we have, actually, the biggest problem, is that most of the players we want to let go do not have a reasonable resale value. They do not have a reasonable resale value.
No.
How much are you going to sell Kolasinac? How much are you going to sell Chambers? How much are you going to sell Ozil? How much is Elneny worth? How much is Granit Xhaka worth? So, I mean, you could ship out 10, 15 players at Arsenal, and you even don't get, a reasonable amount of money. So, I do. That's why I would agree with you. It might not take one window. It might not take two windows. These players might actually need to live on free transfers or terminate their contracts. Like the way we have seen players like, Hendrik Mkhitaryan or something like that. It's really going to take a lot of time to clear this dead wood. A lot of time. Real talk.
Sorry, guys. The Leicester fan obviously taking the mick out of us. That's the kind of trouble you're in, asking us to sign Wes Morgan. That is terrible. And another question in the chat: how much can we cash in for Lacazette? 35 million. I don't think there's any team that can give us 35 million for Lacazette right now. I think the most would be something like, I don't know how long he has in his contract, but maybe 22 or something. 20 at most. Yes, if you check the strikers, the last 7 years, top 10 strikers in terms of goals, you'll see Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo, Aubameyang, Lacazette there, but he's dropped off very, very badly. I don't get why he's not finishing chances, not scoring enough goals, and then he's not the only one. Let's finish with Aubameyang before I let you guys go. Cozy will be doing a preview for Arsenal's game tomorrow. Probably will join him on his channel, and Zoom, as usual, very, very great podcast. You can check them out on his platforms. So for Zoom, I wanted to ask about Aubameyang. Yeah, looking for his picture. So what has happened? How comes he can't score any goals? He's scoring, but in the wrong side. I was so happy to see him scoring the other day. I was so happy to see him scoring. I mean, how can you all of a sudden score like 10 goals in 4 games at the end of the season, and then the season starts and then everything is gone? Because it's not, you can say that it's lack of creativity, but there are some chances him and Lacazette have gotten. I'll be like, why is he missing these chances? Like, he doesn't commit to headers. It's like, oh, I don't want to get injured. Why? Is he like lost the spark he had at the end of last season?
No, I don't think so, man. And why I say that is because just off the top of my head, how many times have you seen him in the position that he found himself in against Southampton? The actual decent goal that we scored with some decent link up. It's been such a long time since we put Aubameyang through on goal like that. A lot of the chances that he has missed were reactive chances that he's not necessarily good at. These headed goals or headed crosses that he needs to get on the end of, they're not his kind of goal. And if you think about it, I just feel like we don't put him in the right positions enough. And when you do put him in the right position, even just once, that's what happens, man. Look at the goal that we scored against Southampton. That was a great goal. I'm not really worried. By the way, not only am I not really worried about Aubameyang, I'm not worried about any of these forward players until we sign some decent central midfielders. I played in midfield myself, so I completely understand. I genuinely feel like I understand why we're not creating the right scenarios for these strikers to score. We're not finding them in behind defensive lines. We're not giving them through passes that I expect any Sunday league player to be able to do. So I just feel like I can't blame Aubameyang. I can't blame Willian, Pepe, none of these guys. Up until
how much are you? How much are you as a midfielder? We do need midfielders. Are you also going to join Arsenal and ask for 250k a week?
I was a number 10, and by the way, I had a very, very good through pass. Very, very good through pass. People actually used to call me
exactly what we need. Exactly what we need at Arsenal.
Santi Cazorla, man.
The problem is you're going to join and you're also going to be given 400k a week. We are not having any more players like that. Aubameyang is a goal machine if a ball is passed to him in a counter-attack because he can use his pace to dash and score a goal. I agree with Zoom in terms of we've not gotten any of those chances. Those YouTube highlights we used to see of Pepe and Aubameyang, I can actually count how many goals, like chances Aubameyang and Pepe have ever had one-on-one. I don't think Pepe has ever had a one-on-one chance with the goalkeeper. I can't remember any, not even one. Aubameyang last season, I remember against Everton. But you say that, like, also against Leeds and Burnley, I saw him having the ball in the same position he had against Liverpool in the Community Shield, and he doesn't shoot. He's like, I'm not going to shoot. I'm going to try and pass to Saka because of the confidence. So the confidence is gone. Transfer would get Isco on loan, no fee, just wages. I don't know. Because is Isco good enough?
Can I just address this?
Yeah.
Kosi,
Yeah.
getting Isco on loan is exactly the same kind of deal we've been giving everybody, like Socrates, Kolasinac, Mesut Ozil, Willian, all these guys. He's not going to have any resale value, and there's no guarantee that he's going to perform. And even then, Isco is a baller. He's a technically gifted player, but he doesn't have productivity in assists and goals. And right now, we need that from our midfielders.
Yeah, I absolutely, I do agree. I was asking the same question last time when I was doing the 3 transfers that Arsenal would be looking at: Isco, Fabio Vieira, and as like and Aouar. And there's like, but do you notice that all these guys, Aouar has created 3 assists and 2 goals in 11 appearances this season. Isco doesn't have that output, and Fabio Vieira has only created one chance and 1 goal for Porto, although he's highly rated. And I'm like, I mean, we are in the same, we are going back in the to the same thing. You need someone with numbers. You need someone with like Emi Buendia. He has 83 chances created last season in the Premier League. Bring that person in. At least you can, his statistics can back him up. I do agree. Isco could be a technically gifted player, but does he have the output we need right now? No, I don't think, because even Ceballos is technically gifted, but he keeps on passing sideways.
Exactly.
It's not what we need right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Very good comparison. Dani Ceballos can have that pass. He can dribble past defenders, but does he do it anywhere nearly regularly enough? No. For me, by the way, if you sign Emiliano Buendia somehow and Houssem Aouar, I think you fix our midfield issues, not defensive, midfield issues. So yeah, I hope so.
There are rumors that Arsenal might sign Eriksen, man. I'm tired of these outcasts from Tottenham and Chelsea.
By the way, the Eriksen thing, if it's just Eriksen alone, I'd have an issue with that for the same reason that Kosi gave, that these guys, not only will they have no resale value, but also they don't produce enough from midfield. But if, and this is what's rumored, it's apparently a swap deal between Eriksen and Granit Xhaka. The way I see it is, if it was up to me, I'd cancel Xhaka's contract right now and pay him off. But it's not. And if this is true and we can get a swap deal going with Inter Milan and we get Eriksen instead of Xhaka, that's an upgrade on what we have, in my opinion.
Because you can take that question on screen. Is it a question or a comment, just a statement? Can we get all that money for those players?
A piece for players that you mentioned, Kola Mustafi, 10 million for Elneny, Chambers and Rob Holding.
Can we get all that money for those players?
I can't. Rob Holding, you could get some good money from Rob Holding. I think you could also get some small money from Chambers. Mustafi, no, not anymore. He's waiting for his deal, because the problem with some of these players, they have months. When January comes, they have 4 or 5 months to the end of their contracts, and there's no one someone's going to give you 10 million for a player who has 3-4 months, 5 months left on their contract. They would rather wait and tie him on a contract like what they did with Ramsey and get him on a free. So we're not going to really get much of that. Maybe if Rob Holding, we could get something like 15 million. Chambers, I don't know, but maybe some little money out. It depends on how long the contract is. Players like Socrates, players like Mustafi, their contracts are down. We can't get real money out of them.
Kosi and Glenn, I need to ask you both this question. So, interesting scenario right now. Speaking of sales, right? Speaking of sales, the interesting scenario that we find ourselves in: Balogun and Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah.
Balogun needs his contract renewed as soon as possible. Eddie Nketiah, by the end of this season, will have 1 year left on his contract. And guess what? They are both represented by the same agent.
Yeah.
Now, you have to tell me something, okay? Who should we keep? Who should we sell if we're selling anyone at all?
That is very easy. Selling Nketiah, I've seen enough of him. I've seen enough of him and not seen enough of him. I've seen him play for so many games and I've not seen enough. And Balogun, for the few games I've seen him play, he's been okay. Not that I agree with the likes of Kozi and other people I see in the comments saying, no, play Balogun in the first team, he'll score goals. I'm not very sure of that. I don't think we've seen enough to prove that Balogun will come and fight against Tarkowski, against Burnley. I don't think so. But for me, I think we've seen enough of Nketiah. So I'd try and keep Balogun. I'll just risk it because we've seen Nketiah is not the kind of striker. He's one-dimensional, I see. He's like a box striker. He's like Calvert-Lewin, but Calvert-Lewin is scoring goals. He's just making the box, nothing else.
It's not good enough. That's not good enough to be an Arsenal player for me.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say that. Let me just give you another example of a player who is trying so much, but I don't think they are going to become good enough to become an Arsenal player. Is Jose Willock. So Nketiah, Jose Willock, they're good players. You can see, they have the heart. They try. Everything they do is in the heart and spirit of Arsenal, but they're just not good enough. For me, they are not. There is not that something I would feel when Emile Smith-Rowe bangs onto that pitch, and you're like, he has this kind of quality. Even if he doesn't do anything, you feel like that kind of quality, the movement. I just don't believe they are good enough. Now, the reason as to why I wanted Balogun to play was not because I advocated for Balogun to play even before he scored his first goal in the Europa League. The reason as to why I wanted him to play was Aubameyang's body language was completely off, and it's like, if United used Marcus Rashford 4 years ago against us in a game you thought would be too big for us, when we had players like, I think by then who was there? Arsenal, Pamit Saka, very tall. You bring in Marcus Rashford. Then I was like, why don't we try a Balogun and see? We have seen players come like that. Trent Alexander-Arnold, how did he come? Man comes in, slowly. He starts playing his football. Right now, he's one of the best, right backs in the world. We have seen Tottenham bring in, players, small players, down. And they give them, it's all about giving these players a chance at times. You need to give them a chance. Nketiah has got his chance. He has not used it. He has proven that it's not good enough. Willock has got his chance. He's not proved it. So let us see Emile Smith-Rowe, let us see Balogun get a chance. And it's going to be a very big mistake if Arsenal let Balogun go. It's going to be the Gnabry mistake. Gnabry, for all reasons, Gnabry was performing at the level of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain by then. He was a good player. You ask yourself, why did Arsenal let him go? You can answer that question. I mean, there are no reasons to back him, to back that up. Player was good. Give him a contract. If he wants regular team football, give it to him. But if he can play at Bayern regularly, why can't he play at Arsenal regularly? You can't really answer such questions. I'm telling you for a fact. You can't answer that. Such questions.
Okay, so last thing before we end it, how many players do we need in January? Zoom, you said 2?
2.
And how many do we need to get rid of?
I think we need to get rid of, let me count them. I think we need to get rid of Xhaka, Socrates, Kolasinac.
This is in January?
Yeah. Ozil. Yeah, 6 players.
6 players in January, okay. Kozi, can you really get rid of 6 players in January?
Like I said, it's going to be a real problem. They are going to be tied down to contracts, and then they'll eventually leave in the summer on free transfers. That's what I think. But we can. I don't know if we can. Drive out 2 players. Apparently, Torreira is coming back. That is what is trending in the news. So I'll have to look at that. On a closer basis. So if Torreira is coming back, then you just bring in 2 more players. One which I believe will be on a free deal, and then we might sign one other player. So I think it's going to be 2 players. Torreira comes back, then we can let out around 2 players. So I don't see Arsenal doing so much of crazy business in January. I don't see that happen.
Where can we realistically finish the Zoom? Top 10, number 9, 12?
I think top 10. Top
10. Kozi, highest finish you can get?
Anywhere in the top 10. I think 9th, 8th. I think we shall not go above that. Last season we were 8th. We were the same old Arsenal. We are still the same old Arsenal. 8th.
I think maybe I think I'd agree that maybe 8th. I don't think you can finish any higher. Although right now on the table, if you win back-to-back games, like 4 games in a row, you can jump up to 6th. But can we sustain it? I hope we have a good January transfer window. But so I was not. By the way, I was not hosting this show. This is just a conversation with cousins. Whom I'll try and get a regular podcast probably with the two sometime, so we can be doing that. I like your insight, man. Zoom. Where can they follow you?
They can follow me on IG and on Twitter at Zuhum Omar, exactly how it's written. And I'd also love it if you guys also follow the Nearly Footballers podcast. That's my platform as well, where a bunch of guys who were nearly footballers talk about football. So yeah.
Cozy.
All right, guys. Of course, you should know. You catch me at Cosy's Arsenal podcasts. On a daily. Cosy's Arsenal podcast. That's what you type in on a daily basis. I'm heading there for the match preview. I think in 10 minutes from here, I'll head in for the match preview. Everton against Arsenal. One game I think it's going to be a hell of a cracker. Not easy for Everton like people think. Not easy for Arsenal like we expect. I don't know what my thoughts on that are going to be. But anyway, let me see when I get in the stream and we start discussing those issues there.
Sorry, prediction for the game, Cozy?
A point will do. A point will do against Everton. I think away from home. I mean, can we hold to a 1-1 draw? I think a 1-1 draw will do.
Zoom?
I think we might win this, actually. There's no Allen for them. There's no James Rodriguez and no Seamus Coleman, I believe. So I know we're going to miss Gabriel, but I think we might have a decent game this time.
So I've just talked to 2 Everton fans today. One show is out, another one is going to be posted soon. And I can tell you, the lady I did with, she said they're going to keep a clean sheet. That's how disrespectful they are to Arsenal right now. And she said Iwobi is going to score. And we were doing a combined 11, and she actually said Iwobi is playing better than Saka. And I was finding it so tough to argue because I've seen Iwobi playing the last 4 games. Saka was okay against Southampton, but before that, So they're expecting to win the game, so that is unfortunate. Thank you, everyone who was in the chat. I appreciate it. Lewis, Mr. BK, Attila, Arsenal Vlogs, LCFC Boy, a Leicester fan. I'm sure you're enjoying life. Paul, Cookie, RK Sweetie, Jeff Rule, Why Not Sentiment, and everyone else. Thank you, man. We'll be doing these shows regularly, so thank you for watching. Make sure you check out Cozy's podcast. Is going to do a preview, and make sure you check Zoom on his Instagram and Twitter. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.